and welcome to another edition of History with Jimmy at the FLT Museum. And I'm here today with my producer, Chandler Holmes, and we are doing a segment on Civil War and flags that we have here. So one of the first persons to donate something from the Civil War was Jolene Yapel Gearhart. And she gave this to us when we were downstairs. Her daughter came about 2 years later and said that she had passed away, but her mom wanted the FLT Museum to have this. And so they were in a house out in Huntington Mills somewhere, and her and her husband were remodeling a house, and they found this black leather pouch. And as they took it apart, they found these documents. And these documents were inside the pouch, and they were Civil War documents, and it was a gentleman's discharge papers from the Civil War, and his last name was Carey, and it was started with a C. And 30 years later, his wife got an $8 a month pension, being as her husband was in the Civil War. So we want to thank Jolene Yapel Gearhart's family for donating these items to the FLT Museum, plus one other item that we will be talking about. And that item is directly behind me, hanging on the wall. And at that time, Susan Schwartz from the Press Enterprise came and did a story onto it. And if you come to the museum, you'll be able to read this particular story. But the thing that we're going to be talking about most is the flag that is behind me. That is a rare flag, and because of the design. And this flag was an American national flag, 13 stars. It's called a medallion pattern with a large star in the center. And it is from either 1890s to 1910, it is said earliest 20th century. And so you can see this flag is hanging behind me up on top of the wall. And we had this flag from when we were downstairs, but now that the museum is upstairs, it's more prominently displayed. This particular type of flag was used by the Navy, from what we've been able to find out. And they had this flag from 1890 to 1910. And because of symbolisms, Americans are always drawn to the antique with 13 stars. But what is unique about this flag, that the way that the pattern is with the large star in the center, and each of the corner stars are allowed to rotate their axis. And you notice that the top corners of the stars are in different directions from the bottom two. So it makes it very rare. This is a rare flag. It represents the American flags produced for this purpose, and it goes back to flags that were designed the same way for the Civil War. So this is very rare, and we're glad that we're able to have this flag at the museum, and we thank the Jolene Yapel Gearhart's family for this particular flag and recognize it. And when you come to the museum and do a tour, we will be able to tell you a little bit more about this particular one. The other flag that we're going to be talking about today is this one, and this one is one that Chandler and I found in a suitcase, and it's a rare flag for the simple reason that this one was made specifically for World War I. And these were handmade flags, and when somebody had somebody serving in the military or maybe was at war at World War I, they would put stars on this particular flag. And so each star represented somebody serving in the military. But what's rare about this one, if you go on eBay, you could see flags with 3 stars, 4 stars, maybe 5, but never 7. And if someone who was serving at that time died, they would sew a gold star inside one of the blue stars recognizing that that particular person has passed away. Now, one of the other things to remember about this flag, because it has 7 stars, we don't think that it belonged to a family. It could have belonged to a church or a business that had members of its family and employees that were employed by that particular business and stuff. So it is rare to find a 7-star flag like this. And so we're happy to be able to have this flag and display it here, but we don't know exactly who it came from. A lot of times we're given things that we don't know who gave them to us, and unfortunately we cannot tell any more about it, only knowing that it's local and it was in items that were left here at the FLT Museum. So today that ends this particular episode. We thank you for watching this episode, and I would say smile, it makes you feel better. This is Jimmy Bach, along with Chandler Holmes, signing off on episode 3 at the FLT Museum. Thank you.